Welcome back. We're here to cover the divine masculine. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium, clairvoyant, and intuitive astrologer. And yes, we will be covering those energies here online. Now, if you do want to book a reading, all the links can be found directly below and on our landing page. We're going to get straight into it. This is a pretty interesting reading, and even just from sitting here looking at it, I can feel the energy of this individual really feeling at a collective level quite fed up. And I do see that there are these revelations that are coming through this experience, and it could potentially be because of, I would say, all the way back to 2025 and probably even further back. And they're coming to this pivotal point at this point in time. And this intensity is really building and has been building for some time. But I do see, especially from the crowning energy, it's almost like they're attempting to face these challenges head on. Now, notice the card is quite glared. The statement piece of this card states challenging times. It's in a reversal, which is interesting because it almost looks like an eclipse directly behind them. It's a 5 energy. And with all of what we are moving into this month, I do directly feel that this is an individual that, yes, within the direction of how things are going to go, they're not quite sure about how it's going to play out. But simultaneously, they know something has to give. They have gone through a dreadful amount of changes, but to no reprieve. So there is an element of frustration here. There's an element of privacy, being very cautious about who they do and don't trust. And what they're wanting to move out of their way can relate to things of the past, although, again, I do just really feel at this point in time, they're wanting to get out of circumstance and they feel time is of the essence. Now, most recent past, it's interesting that we have, the card is a 0, which is like the full card in tarot. And many times, and something we are moving into in 2027 is really the 1-1 energy, which when you go from the 0 to the 1, it's almost like you're landing in these new experiences. You feel very ill prepared. It is marked as a new beginning, and the tools do come to you. Sometimes it can be through teamwork, but regardless, it can be a circumstance where you can feel a little bit out of your depth, but you're like, heck it, I've just got to jump in the deep end here. I just have to do this. And I'm noticing that maybe this process, there was a lot of apprehension about who they trust, what's real, what are they basing facts on, and even trusting themselves. Probably when we do have a lot of hurdles in our life, we do, as we progress and become more mature, we are innately more cautious. And I do see this person almost like each lily pad they've stepped on, so to speak, it's been some hurdle. And there again, I do get this notion they're very fed up of this. I do see a lot of orbs around this person, and I feel that they are protected. Their guides are actually really protecting them. And they could be getting some dream states, they could be getting some signs and synchronicities, but their heart is being pulled into the future, even though they feel in the heart space that they may need to embrace this. There is this apprehension of the past, and they're like, can I trust my instincts? I feel they're also realizing there's no way but forward. So even if they feel apprehensive, the crowning energy within the 5s, they're like, look, I've come this far. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. I know that this has to come from a place of authenticity. And in the heart space, they've actually almost got like the wheel, and there's lots that they're trying to balance, but they're like, wherever the cards fall is where the cards fall. Now, uniquely, I think this is interesting that this energy is coming up now, because I do feel some of this is a little bit like the Venus retrograde. And this does, again, depend on what zodiac sign this individual is. However, the message in the bottle that I'm getting from this is they are picking up very intuitively where it comes to their money, where it comes to their love life, and situations of the past that haven't been resolved, and what they need to put to bed so they can be liberated to move forward. So I do think they've actually connected the puzzle pieces in life. What's working, what's not working, where the direct blockages are. they've gained enough information like a wizard, and they're looking at this and going, hey, you know, these things are actually creating hurdles. And I'm not really passionate about this, and I'm not loving it. I don't really want to be the bad guy here, but I have to address the elephant in the room. Now, again, where they've had hunches, where they've had inclinations, I do think that Aquarius moon actually activates and activated a lot of this frequency, where the intuition was giving them some ideas about how to go about addressing the elephant in the room so that they could liberate themselves forward and moving into not only their divine partnership, but their divine authenticity of being who they are, not being somebody that they're not. And for a long time, they have known that they have not been listening to their intuition. And, you know, there is this sympathy I hold for these individuals, especially looking at this reading, because I do feel whatever is going to be revealed is a bitter pill to swallow. And it's like something they've had in their subconscious mind about a betrayal that is going to be head on face, so to speak. And they don't know if they're going to be able to stomach it, but they're coming to that point. They're like, right, I've got to take the first step. Unless I can do this, I know I can't heal, I know I can't fix the past, but I can confront it so that in some shape or form I can have the relevant information and I can directly move forward with this circumstance. I feel they know that until that happens, they're not going to be able to correct their course. And that even in the context, and we're going to go back and we're going to clarify because there's a lot of information coming through here. This is not to do with one subject, although the elephant in the room subject is something that has been a bugbear in their own individual life that has been inadvertently affecting their love life, how they proceed forward, how they're walking on those lily pads so ever so cautiously. And I do feel this is bold, courageous energy. I know that they feel, gosh, I'm going to have to confront this. This is my responsibility. It's my obligation. It's something that's been hidden from me. And they're peering through the curtain, and they know by actually addressing this, it's actually going to cause some changes, radical changes. Some, yes, negative, some super positive. But nevertheless, we're going to go into clarifying this. They feel very nauseated by it as well. So, like I said, there is a lot of anxiety. And this, you know, challenging times in reverse, it's like they can be coming out of the waters, but also they're not wanting to take baggage with them. They're not wanting to have a life where something that shouldn't be there is still there. This could be something to do with justice. We can see the scales and really trying to get a sense of balance in their life after many challenging moments and maybe even not trusting their intuition. So there's a piece in the puzzle that is, like I said, by addressing it, this could be a third party situation, interferences. They're addressing those. They do potentially have three paths. That does cause a different outcome for each path. Now, I don't think this pertains to romance. I think this is a method they're actually trying to take in order to solve this situation. But I do feel there's a lot of conflict, and it's like, okay, I've got to turn into this conflict. I need to address it. This is my responsibility. Who are these individuals? Look, it could have been three people that really challenged them, so to speak, and maybe betrayed them, and they had a lot of faith and trust in these individuals. There could be a question mark over three individuals, and this is going to be very the message they will understand what this relates to, or if you directly know what is happening in their life. Now, what examples could it be? Three individuals, point blank zero, three subject matters, or a third party situation, but there's interference here for sure. This is it's saying this is really affecting them. How would I say it? It's affecting them in all facets of their life. So the pause is a bit like tedious paperwork that we need to go back and address, and it's something they've been mulling over in their minds. Now, okay, gut instincts, trust, thinking back, okay, well, I wasn't really ready back there to address it. It's coming up now. It's affecting my foundation now. Yes, things could be worse. It's constantly affected and it's taken from them. So now it's like in the heart of it, they're like, yeah, it's probably going to turn everyone's world upside down. But automatically, they do feel that they're running out of time, that they do need to do this both for their stability, especially when we do look at the likes of what's happening in the world. They're sort of like, look, if I don't do this now, when? And, it almost does feel energetically, if they don't address it, it's going to affect their stability, their future, their ability to gain some sense of balance, and have, in general, a physical life. This is very heavy energy, so it's of the utmost most urgency in their mind. Again, they're a bit pissed that they haven't actually listened to their intuition, but there was this innate feeling that they had. It was the timing factor. Hurdles maybe financially, hurdles maybe of circumstances, maybe to do with the person's wellness, manipulation, etc. But now they're kind of like, look, I really need to listen to my intuition. I'm going to have to do what I need to do. I can't keep, this will pass, but they're also saying, even if this does pass, this does transcend, this does change, I need to know for my sanity so that I can create some consistency in my life. Now, the healing and the outcome card, and we're going to go back and we're going to look at how this directly impacts their romantic sector. Yeah, they do feel then they can actually stabilize, start recovering, start healing. And, not enable people that really don't want to work with them. They're realizing that you can't work with somebody who's not working with you. And they've taken on too much. They've got a lot on their plate. A lot of this had been on the back burner, especially where it came to the divine feminine. They're sort of feeling like the last few years has been pretty hectic. They do know that the divine feminine deserves to have some sense of answers, although they also have been dumbfounded about knowing that they have to address the elephant in the room and that some of those answers have directly been hidden from them. And so they didn't want to drag you into a circumstance, and especially for those of you maybe that are in reunion or union, this is a challenge that they're addressing head on their own. They know that when you are dragged into it or involved, it does get a bit messy. So regardless of where you stand, whether you're in communication, contact, no contact, or reunion, they're all trying to deal with it from the same perspective of, I must address this. This is my soul contract in addressing this subject matter. It's what's going to be a solution to liberate it. Like I said, they're very anxious. They do want to give you a lot of answers. If they do come across as a little bit secretive at the moment, I wouldn't stress too much. Give them the baton and let them address the elephant in the room, because I do feel if you do, they're actually going to come to you probably a lot lighter and willing to actually express to you, what's been going on, what the bugbear's been, and in more alignment, where they feel once they address this, they really can be, in a position to actually build this connection back up. Now, all the readings are out at the moment for the masculine, feminine, and karmic third party. Go through and take a look. And if you do want a booking, a private one, to see how this directly impacts your individual path, you can find all the links for the website directly below and visit Yildiz Readings 5D. Now, separately, one thing you can do is sign up to our Sage in a Circle network, where we do have our sign up page. Otherwise, I will see you next week.